Have you ever felt something watching you when you were completely alone? Have you ever heard whispers in an empty room or seen shadows move when no one was there? Paranormal investigators dedicate their lives to answering one terrifying question. What happens when the dead refuse to rest? These haunted house horror stories come directly from investigators who have stepped inside the most sinister locations, where the air is thick with dread and something unseen lurks just beyond the veil of the living world. They have heard the voices, seen the apparitions, and experienced horrors beyond imagination. If you think you can handle it, read on. But don't be surprised if you feel an eerie presence around you by the time you finish. Story 1: The House That Watched. It started as an ordinary investigation, an abandoned Victorian home, long forgotten and left to decay. The house had a reputation for strange occurrences, doors slamming, objects moving on their own, and a chilling presence felt by anyone who dared step inside. The lead investigator, Michael, set up his equipment: thermal cameras, EVP recorders, and motion sensors. The air was dense, suffocating. As he asked the first question, "Is there anyone here with us?" the room temperature dropped instantly. Then the whisper came. A breathy, rasping voice murmured, "Leave right into the recorder." A loud bang echoed from upstairs. The team rushed toward the sound, only to find an empty room with a single rocking chair moving back and forth, as if someone had just been sitting there. Michael turned to leave, but something grabbed his wrist, an ice-cold grip that left a red imprint on his skin. Whatever haunted that house was not a lingering spirit. It was something angry, and it was watching them. Story 2: The Woman in the Window. A paranormal research team was called to investigate an eerie farmhouse deep in the woods, where the owners had seen a figure staring at them from the upstairs window. Every time they went inside, no one was there. On their first night inside, they set up cameras and placed motion detectors near the staircase. Just after midnight, the team heard footsteps on the second floor. The lead investigator, Sarah, climbed the stairs cautiously, her flashlight flickering. As she reached the landing, she saw a figure at the end of the hall, a woman in a long black dress, her face pale, her eyes hollow. The woman took a step forward and then vanished. The team reviewed their footage the next morning. In the video, the woman didn't simply vanish. She lunged at Sarah, her mouth stretching into an unnatural scream. But Sarah had seen nothing in real time. The owners moved out the next day. The house still stands, waiting for its next unfortunate visitor. Story 3: The House That Screamed. A mansion that had been abandoned for over 50 years drew the attention of a paranormal investigation team after numerous reports of horrifying sounds coming from inside. Some described it as whispers, others as crying, but the most disturbing reports spoke of screams. The team entered at dusk, setting up recording devices in every room. As the sun set, the atmosphere grew heavier. Then at exactly 3 o'clock a.m., the house erupted into a chorus of inhuman screams. They came from the walls, from the floorboards, from the air itself. One of the investigators collapsed, clutching his ears as blood trickled from his nose. The team ran for the door, but it slammed shut on its own. The screaming didn't stop until dawn. They never went back. The mansion remains untouched, a cursed place where the echoes of agony never fade. Story 4: The Shadow in the Corner. The Willowcrest Inn had always been known for its vintage charm. Tucked away in a quiet New England town, its ivy-clad exterior and antique furnishings evoked an old-world elegance that drew visitors from far and wide. But beneath its polished reputation lurked a chilling secret: Room 306. Guests who stayed in that room often left in the dead of night, pale and shaken. Many claimed to have seen a shadowy figure in the corner, its presence thick with malice. Some felt its cold breath against their skin, while others woke to find it looming inches from their faces, a dark void in the moonlit room. The inn's owner, Mrs. Whitmore, had long since given up trying to explain away the stories. Instead, she simply kept the room locked, reserving it only for those who insisted on staying, those who wished to uncover the truth. Enter Evelyn Carter, a seasoned paranormal investigator known for her fearless approach to the supernatural. When she heard about the Willowcrest Inn's haunted reputation, she booked room 306 without hesitation. Armed with her night vision camera and digital recorder, she was determined to document whatever lurked in the shadows. As midnight approached, Evelyn set up her equipment, positioning the camera in the farthest corner to capture the entire room. She checked the footage on her laptop. A simple empty space with a 4-poster bed, an antique dresser, and a single chair in the corner. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Lying down with her voice recorder on, she spoke softly. If there's anyone here with me, show yourself. Silence. Minutes passed. Then a soft rustling. The old wooden floor creaked near the foot of the bed. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. A cold pressure settled on her chest, as if invisible hands were pressing her into the mattress. She struggled to move, to breathe, her limbs frozen under an oppressive weight. Panic clawed at her throat as she forced her eyes open. There it was. A black silhouette, featureless and dense like a living shadow, crouched over her. Its face, if it could be called that, was mere inches from hers, an abyss of nothingness. Evelyn wanted to scream, but the sound stuck in her throat, strangled by terror. With every ounce of strength, she reached for the bedside lamp and flicked it on. The weight vanished. The room was empty. Evelyn gasped for air, her body trembling. Shaking, she grabbed her camera and rewound the footage. Her fingers hovered over the play button, her pulse hammering in her ears. The recording began. She watched herself lying still in bed, the room dimly lit by the camera's night vision. Then, from the darkness, movement. The shadow didn't vanish when she turned on the light. It simply crawled backward, retreating into the corner, melting into the darkness as if it had never been there at all. The footage ended, but Evelyn couldn't move. Her eyes darted to the corner of the room where the shadow had disappeared. The chair sat empty, yet the air felt heavy, as if something unseen still lingered. Watching, waiting, she fled the room that night, leaving her equipment behind. Mrs. Whitmore found the camera the next morning, still recording. She watched the footage only once before locking room 306 permanently. The door remains shut to this day, the key lost to time. These stories are just a fraction of what paranormal investigators have experienced. The world is full of haunted places where the echoes of the past refuse to fade and unseen entities linger in the darkness. If you ever find yourself in an old house and feel a chill run down your spine, perhaps you are not alone. Do you still believe ghosts are just stories? Or will you start looking over your shoulder from now on? Sweet dreams, if you can sleep at all.